Hey guys, welcome back to Vive. My name is Martin and today we're gonna take a first look at the TPCAST wireless adapter for the Oculus Rift. So yes, finally the TPCAST adapter for the Oculus Rift is available, and finally all the Oculus Rift gamers can play wirelessly in virtual reality. So in this first video, I'm gonna take a look inside of this box, I'm gonna install the TPCAST on the Oculus Rift, I'm gonna do some testing and give you my first impressions. This is not gonna be a full review because I want to wait until I really feel that I'm confident to talk about the TPCAST for the Oculus Rift, but be sure to subscribe to Vive, and I promise you there's gonna be a lot of TPCAST, Oculus Rift and HTC Vive videos coming up, including full reviews. As you probably may know, I've been using my TPCAST on the HTC Vive for almost 5 months now. I think that the freedom and comfort of walking around, spinning around, and just having a cordless immersion in virtual reality is a huge step forward. So now I'm very excited to try out this unit. So let's just begin with the unboxing. The Oculus Rift version of the TPCAST is very similar to the HTC Vive version, including the same Anker 20.1 amp battery, and if you already have an HTC Vive TPCAST, you can as well use the same battery for both units. The TPCAST transmitter that you preferably install above your head in one of the corners in your room pointing at your play space area looks very familiar to the HTC Vive TPCAST, except that now we have an Oculus Rift stand mount. So we can mount this unit on the Oculus Rift sensor standing mount, and that is very good actually for people that prefer to make it simple and place it in a corner of the room. The battery box or the battery holder looks exactly the same, and we can of course use the same batteries that we are using on the HTC Vive TPCAST unit. Looking deeper inside of this box, we'll find 2 more boxes containing some cables, some manuals, and also a TPCAST router of course. Just like with the HTC Vive version, we now have a strap or a belt included in the package that we can attach the battery and the battery holder for much more convenience instead of having the battery in a pocket, for example. And that is a very good addition, I think. I think a lot of people don't want to use their own belt, so this is very good. Thank you so much TPCAST for adding this. I use this belt kind of daily, and I think it's awesome. And of course, for attaching the battery to the belt, we have this little pouch or pocket included that is very good. It's kind of thin and it's very useful, and it fits perfectly with the Anker power cord battery included with the TPCAST. And also we have 2 sets of cables. The first and most important cable is the one that we are connecting between the TPCAST, the Oculus Rift, and also the battery holder. The cable includes both HDMI, USB, a power, and also the unique Oculus Rift connector, including both HDMI and USB signal. Also including in the box, we have an extra HDMI cable. I'm not really sure what this is all about, if we really need that, if this is just some kind of extender, but it doesn't look to be because there's 2 male connectors on the HDMI, and I'm not really sure if we're gonna need this cable at all. We'll see about that in a moment. And besides some manuals, instructions and warranty cards, we have of course the TPCAST router. The router box includes of course the European power adapter, the router itself, and an Ethernet cable. What I also found inside of the router box is this thing. This is a stand very similar to the Oculus Rift sensor stand. We screw those 2 pieces together, and then we can attach the transmitter, the TPCAST transmitter, so we don't have to attach it on the wall. We can just place it preferably high up, of course, in one of your corners of your room, and well, I think it's quite a nice idea. But have in mind that this unit has to be very high up. It has to see your receiver, your TPCAST receiver all the time, so you cannot stand this or place it on your table, for example. You have to have it very high up somewhere in your room, preferably in one of your corners. So let's take a look at the router. It's exactly the same router that is provided with the HTC Vive version of the TPCAST with 2 huge antennas. We have 1 internet in and 4 LAN ports. And well, another one into my collection. I have 3 TPCAST routers now, guys. And lastly, let's have a look at the Anker battery. It's of course the same battery that was included with the HTC Vive version of the TPCAST. It's 20,100 mAh. It's the same one with those 4 indicators, not the one with those 10 indicators. It's about 4 hours of runtime on a full battery, and it takes between 8 to 12 hours to charge it. As I said, there is no charger included for the battery, but TPCAST is generous enough to give us a USB cable at least. It's a micro USB cable just for charging the battery, so you need our own power plug to charge it, of course, and you can use any plug, of course, from your mobile cell phone, for example, or some other USB unit. So now when everything is unboxed, it's time to install the TPCAST receiver on the Oculus Rift. So the installation of the TPCAST on top of the Oculus Rift, including those cables, seems much easier actually than doing it on the HTC Vive, because the strap is much more simplified than the Deluxe Audio strap, for example, on the HTC Vive. And well, let's start off, guys. And this is gonna be so nice because I can finally remove this terrible cord from the Oculus Rift. I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and now it's finally time. So the first thing we're gonna do is to remove the face cushion here on the Oculus Rift. It's quite simple, just pull it out and it's gonna get out very simple. Now we can remove the cable from the Oculus Rift just like this, and then detach it from this little thing that holds it into the strap on the Oculus Rift. Should be off any second, there we go. So guys, next step is to remove this strap, of course. It's very simple, just remove the Velcro like this, just pull it out, and now we're gonna attach the TPCAST receiver onto this strap. And compared to the HTC Vive version of the TPCAST, we're actually gonna have this receiver on the other side. We're gonna have it with the logo, with the TPCAST logo on the front instead, and that is because of the construction of the TPCAST and the cables on top of the Oculus Rift. So let's have it through those holes over here, and like this. And now we can attach the Velcro strap back like this. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna need to tension it, but well, let's have it like this for now. Well, I can already say that I'm not sure how well this is gonna sit on the Oculus Rift, because on the TPCAST, while using the Deluxe Audio strap, the TPCAST is always sitting at the back, at the end of the Deluxe Audio strap. Well, here we have nothing that is gonna have it stuck, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like this, but I actually guess so. So, well, this is it. This is all we need to do, and now it's time to connect those cables only. We're gonna attach those, and as you can see, on the one end, we have the Oculus Rift connector, that unique little Oculus Rift connector. So let's put the cable in. It sits perfectly in place. Now we can move the face cushion back on place where it was before. And now we can connect this little plastic thing so it sits on top of the cable here on the left side of the Oculus Rift. And we're just gonna attach it so the cable sits quite well. So in case if we pull the cable, then it's not gonna loosen up from the Oculus Rift. That could be quite devastating, I think. Next step is to connect the cables, of course, into the TPCAST, both the HDMI cable and the USB cable. It's just straight ahead, just like that. And as you can see, we're gonna have this little cable dingling around here, and well, this is not maybe the most beautiful solution, to be honest, but I still think it's okay. And if you have like a Velcro strap or something, you can probably strap this thing around here. I don't know, there maybe is included in the box, I haven't even checked that. Well, this is just minor things. I'm starting to nitpicking here, guys, sorry. Anyway, let's connect the cables into the battery holder or the battery box. This is the USB cable, and just plug it in like that, and also the power connector. So the last thing is to actually just connect the battery. But before that, we can install the router and the transmitter on the wall as well. I know a lot of you people may complain about the router existence even. I mean, why do we need a router? Because the TPCAST unit is actually receiving the signal, the video signal from the transmitter on the wall, and of course from the computer, first of all. But the tracking data, the tracking of your head and the controllers as well, I think, are sent through this router. And you really need this router. There are probably ways that you can use your existing router there at home instead of using this TPCAST router, but I'm not going to go through this now because I've never even tried it. I'm not bothered about having just another router, because you just plug it into your power outlet, you take the Ethernet cable and connect it into your PC, and well, it just works. It's very plug and play. So for me, a router is really not a problem. And also, I would like to talk a little bit shortly about the router itself, just like I did on my installation with the TPCAST HTC Vive edition. Well, guys, there are two ways to install this router. First of all, you can use this router and have it between your existing router and your PC. This way, you're connecting your cable from your existing router into this little blue thing. After that, you take one of those yellow LAN ports and you connect them into your PC. But I don't recommend this way because, first of all, the internet is gonna go through your TPCAST router, and this router, as far as I know, is only 100/100 megabit. If you have a faster internet connection, that's not a good option because well, it's gonna slow down your internet or limit it to 100/100 megabit. And also, I think it's kind of a security thing to have another router in between your main internet connection, so I would actually not recommend you to do so. What you do instead is to take that cable provided, it's somewhere here, over here, you take this cable, plug it into the one of the yellow ports, preferably the LAN 1 port, and then connect it to a second Ethernet network card that you have on your PC. Some motherboards have 2 Ethernet ports, just like mine does, but if you don't have it, you can buy an Ethernet card, a USB Ethernet card or a PCI Express Ethernet card. It's quite cheap. I mean, maybe it's like 20 or 30 bucks, and then connect this cable into that second Ethernet port. You don't have to do any settings at all. The router is gonna get found right away by the software. It's very plug and play, to be honest, and the tracking data is gonna automatically be sent through your router. Our next step is to install the transmitter, and in my case, I'm not gonna use this stand for the transmitter because I want my transmitter high up on the wall. So instead, I'm just gonna unscrew it like this to get rid of this little thing. It's very good to have, I think. I mean, it's very nice that they included this little thing, but in my case, I'm not gonna use it, so I'm just gonna remove it. And now I have this little screw hole that I can attach this transmitter on another mount high up on the wall, well, in one of my corners of the room, very close to the other TPCAST transmitter. So we're gonna do that, but before that, I'm gonna connect the HDMI cable, and you do that over here. Just connect the cable and also connect the power in, of course. The transmitter needs power, of course. So, well, let's plug it in. And of course, the other end of the HDMI cable is supposed to be connected to your graphic card, where you had your Oculus Rift connected before. So unplug that cable, because we are not actually gonna need that cable anymore. This is my Oculus Rift cable. And yes, I know it's green because I've sleeved it with some green sleeve, just because I'm doing some mixed reality videos, so I don't want to have this cable visible. But this is in fact the Oculus Rift cable. We are not going to use it at all anymore, so let's just throw it away. And now we're going to connect this one into our PC and install it up there on the mount on the wall. It's a very simple solution, but I think it's well enough. I know it doesn't look pretty. I have to buy some real mounts for this, but for now it's gonna work quite okay, I think. One thing that I actually found a little bit annoying is that this power cable is not so long. It's only about 1.5 meters or maybe 2 meters, and that is actually not enough for me to have it well, up there on the mount and connected to my power input or outlet. So I'm gonna have to use an extender on this power adapter to even connect it into my electricity, and that is annoying. I think this cable should have been a little bit longer actually. TPCAST, well, have that in mind for your next version, make this cable a little bit longer. So the router is now connected and running. The transmitter is on my wall and it's blinking slowly right now. So we're gonna make sure that those two units are syncing together, the transmitter and the receiver. So we're gonna plug in the battery for the first time and we're gonna see what happens. First of all, it's gonna blink very slowly in the beginning, and that's before it's getting synced. We're gonna see how long time. There we go, it's synced automatically, so we don't have to push any buttons or so to sync it. The two units get synced automatically right away. So guys, before we move on into the software installation of the TPCAST software, I'm just gonna try this out. How it feels on my head and, well, how comfortable it is. I gotta tell you guys, I mean, I don't feel the TPCAST being on my head here above the strap. It just feels nice. Hopefully it looks okay as well. The cable is going out here on the left side, so I assume we are gonna use our little pocket for the battery and the battery holder on our left side. I think it's gonna be more comfortable. I usually actually have this cable and the battery inside of my t-shirt just to get rid of the cable once for all, but well, you don't have to do that. Anyway, it feels very comfortable. It doesn't add much weight into your Rift either. So guys, let's jump in front of my computer and install the software now. Let's head over to the tpcastvr.com, the official website of the TPCAST. We're gonna download the software from the European tab over here because we have the European version, of course. Let's go into support, and down here we find the TPCAST software for both HTC Vive and also Oculus Rift. Let's download the Oculus Rift version, of course. It says download here. It's a Google Drive link actually. And hopefully it's gonna go very fast. Yes, it does. So guys, the installation is very simple. It's just a few clicks away. The thing is that the connection between the transmitter and the receiver and everything is gonna go very slow if we not reboot the PC. So I'm gonna reboot the PC before I start off the software, and I'm gonna be back in a few seconds. So the PC is now rebooted and we are gonna start off the connection assistant for the Oculus Rift and the TPCAST. Let's see how fast it's gonna connect. Sometimes it goes fast. Oh, look at this. It's very fast. If you reboot your PC, the whole process is gonna be so much faster. The first time you're starting off this assistant, it actually can take some time. So please reboot after the installation. So everything is connected now, and I think that the Oculus Home is gonna launch here any second. And yes, I can already hear the sound from the Oculus Home, and I'm gonna start off the Oculus mirror here so you can see what I am seeing inside of VR, and let's see. Oh yes, this is nice. This works, guys. So let's stand up and do some more testing. And now you may wonder, how did it go? Well, first of all, I accidentally broke my microphone, so right now I'm using a spare one. The sound is not that good, I'm sorry for this, hope you don't mind. Anyway, TPCAST with the Oculus Rift. Guys, first of all, wireless virtual reality is mind-blowing. It's so much more immersive to just play wirelessly. You can spin around, turn around, you can jump around, lay on the floor, and you have no cable to tangle with. It's a huge difference, I promise you. I have been playing with the TPCAST with the HTC Vive for 5 months now, and I never get tired of it. And also This is one of the reasons that I haven't been playing Oculus Rift that much as well, because it still has been wired until now and it bothered me so much with that cable. I'm not joking, it is a pain. Once you get used to the virtual reality wireless, you cannot go back, I promise you. Anyway, the installation was pretty easy actually. I gotta tell you that it's easier than on the HTC Vive just because of how the Oculus Rift strap is. I mean, we just put this TPCAST on, we connect 3 cables and it's done. On the HTC Vive, you have to struggle for like 20 or 30 minutes. So that's a good thing. Also, I did not run into any problems during the other hardware installation around this TPCAST nor this software installation, besides one issue. Guys, there is one issue, and probably for most of you there is not going to be an issue, but I'm having the TPCAST for the HTC Vive already, as you may know, and I had this software installed already for the HTC Vive, but the software is different than the Oculus Rift. And while I tried to install the Oculus Rift software, it denied me. It said that I already had another version installed that I had to uninstall. And that makes a big problem for me, because I want to be able to just switch between my HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. But for now it doesn't seem to be possible, because I don't think that HTC Vive is gonna work with the Oculus Rift TPCAST. So I'm a little bit bothered about this. I don't want to uninstall the software every time I want to switch between those headsets. So that is an issue, especially if you already have the TPCAST for the HTC Vive. This may be an issue, but I also think that TPCAST is gonna solve it very fast, because I think it's quite important. Moving on to the image quality and signal quality, because that is one of the most important things with this TPCAST unit. And I can just tell you, just like with the HTC Vive and TPCAST, the image quality and the image signal is perfect. There is simply no difference between your corded Oculus Rift image and this wireless Oculus Rift image. There are no artifacts, no compression, and you really cannot tell the difference, because it is actually the same signal transferred wirelessly. Also, I was walking around inside of my room space or game space area. I could not find any blind spot or something, any spot that I could actually lose the signal. And also I tried this little corner. I bent down all the way into this corner, and this way my body is blocking away actually the image signal from the transmitter over there. So practically I'm blocking the signal away, but I could not see any compression going on nor any signal loss. So I think that the signal quality is just perfect, just like I said before with the HTC Vive and the TPCAST. Furthermore, there is no lag, even though you may think there will be some lag, and maybe there is some lag added, I don't know, because it is wireless, it is a wireless unit. But from my experience, I cannot see any lag or delay or anything at all. It just feels perfect. Also, the green line that I was talking about while using the HTC Vive with the TPCAST, there was a green line on the right side. Guess what? It's gone on the Oculus Rift. We don't have any green line at all. There are some borders actually. I don't know what it is. The field of view feels a little bit more narrow. I'm not sure what it really is. It feels like instead of having those rounded borders like this, we have borders like this now. And it feels like there's a little percentage of the screen to the left and to the right. So the horizontal field of view is a little bit more narrow. And well, that's a shame, and I think that's because of TPCAST. I mean, I haven't seen that before on the Oculus Rift, even though I don't play that much on the Oculus Rift. I mostly play on the HTC Vive, but still, I could see that there was some kind of border, and I was a little bit worried about that, because I used to get a little bit frustrated about the smaller field of view that Oculus Rift actually has compared to the HTC Vive, and now suddenly the field of view got even more narrow. Also, those little borders that we have there, they are a little bluish also. It's not the same apparent, you know, the green color that we had with that green line. This is nothing that you're gonna be bothered about, I think, nor in light scenes or in dark scenes or dark games, but there are some kind of bluish borders, and I'm not sure if this is the way the signal is transmitted. Maybe the image is some kind of limited or something. Anyway, the field of view is a little bit more narrow, and I think that's important for you to know. So how about the sound quality? Well, the sound quality is just perfect. I could not hear any compression in the sound. I remember when I was playing with the TPCAST, the Chinese version of the TPCAST, my first version that I had for the HTC Vive, I could hear some kind of compression. It felt like the sound quality was not the same, but ever since I changed to the European version on the of the TPCAST on my HTC Vive, I couldn't hear that sound anymore, and nor could I hear it here. I think the sound was just perfect, just like it is when you use the Oculus Rift with those cords. So, well, the microphone is not working, no guys, and you probably already know about it. But there is a fix, as you may know. There is a custom Open TPCAST firmware that you can download and install. It's kind of a complicated procedure, so I'm not gonna go through it now, but you can actually get the microphone to work both on the HTC Vive TPCAST and also on the Oculus Rift TPCAST. But when I tried Steam VR for a second and I went into the audio settings, I actually could see the Rift audio or Rift microphone. It was there, but I couldn't get any sound from it. I tried to record it with the OBS Studio, but I just could not get any sound. So it is detectable, but it's not active in some way. I don't know, maybe it will be with some future updates or firmware updates. Well, we'll see. But there is one issue, and you may call it a big issue, and I won't say it's a small issue, but this is an issue, guys. There are some occasional tracking issues. Guys, I spent almost 3 hours testing out this unit. I was actually planning to just try it for a few moments and see how it works, but I ended up having some occasional, well, tracking issues, both with the headset and also with the touch controllers. So I decided I'm gonna troubleshoot this. So I changed the USB ports and unplugged a lot of stuff. I went into the router and changed some settings and changed the router into 11A mode only, as recommended on some forum posts for people that have problem with this tracking issues on the HTC Vive and the TPCAST. But that didn't help me, and I have never ever seen those tracking issues before, nor on the Oculus Rift when it was wired, and nor on the HTC Vive, both wired and wireless. So this is the first time I see it, and maybe you see this in those little short clips here, that I actually lost some tracking at times, and it was like stuttery at times. You just like jumped for a few centimeters or so forward and backward. Sometimes the controller just drifted away or just disappeared actually. And I'm a little bit concerned that this may be an TPCAST issue, because all of this tracking is sent through this TPCAST and into the router. So there could be an issue, and I even closed down the Wi-Fi here at home in case there was some kind of interference, but it just didn't help. I really tried everything. I reinstalled the TPCAST software, I reinstalled actually the Oculus Home and the Oculus drivers as well. I really spent some time, but I still had this issue. So I really hope that this is gonna get addressed, especially now when people start to pre-order this TPCAST unit for the Oculus Rift. I think is very important. The tracking and the image signal are the most important things with this unit. While the image signal is working perfectly, the tracking is not yet perfect. I won't say it's bad, but you can get some occasional tracking issues. And I went into Reddit when I kind of gave up troubleshooting. I went into Reddit and I found a review of another guy having this TPCAST for the Oculus Rift, and he had the same issue. The thing is that he solved this issue by installing the Open TPCAST custom firmware, and those tracking issues went away. But do we really have to do this? If we buy this wireless device for like 350 or 400 euro, do we really have to spend 20 more bucks to buy that license for the Open TPCAST firmware? And also, I mean, unplug this thing and remove the micro SD card and put in another version of the firmware. Well, I don't think that most users will would like to do that. So this is a problem, so please TPCAST, look into this issue, because there is really nothing wrong with my 3 sensor setup in here. This cannot be an issue with my computer, and I'm not the only one having this issue. So, well, anyway guys, this is not a full review. I have only used this unit for a couple of hours, around 3 hours as I said, and while the installation process and so was flawless, most of the thing was just flawless, and I am really happy with this unit. If those tracking issues will be fixed, I think this is gonna be the next step for all Oculus Rift users. Wireless virtual reality is a huge step. You're gonna get so much more immersed, and once you get used to it, you will never go back. As I said, I know I've said this a lot of times before, but once you go wireless, you're gonna start to appreciate it. And once you try some other headset with a cable, you're just gonna get so frustrated, just like I was in the beginning of this video. But I mean, all in all, this TPCAST unit for the Oculus Rift actually delivers what it's promising. Just like the HTC Vive version of the TPCAST, this TPCAST version actually works great. It gives you wireless virtual reality, and it gives you everything you need to play without those cords. So if those issues could only be fixed, this unit is gonna be perfect. We don't need anything else, I think. But remember guys, the tracking issue is still there, so consider maybe wait until you know that this is fixed, until you maybe make up your decision to buy this unit or not. Anyway guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you stay tuned for my full review of this TPCAST unit for the Oculus Rift, because this is mainly my first impression, and also those tracking issues, they could be caused by my computer. Of course, there could be something wrong with my computer, so I'm gonna investigate that, and in a couple of weeks or so, I'm sure I will have a full review of the TPCAST for Oculus Rift ready on Vive. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all your support, and thank you for all your feedback, all your comments. Sorry I'm not replying to all your comments, but there's been a lot of stuff to do lately, so hope you don't mind. Anyway, have a lovely day, and also Merry Christmas to you guys. I'm not sure if I will be able to do any more videos before the 24th and the Christmas Eve. I will try, but I cannot promise anything. So in case I'm not back until after Christmas, well, have fun, enjoy Christmas, Merry Christmas guys, and see you in my next video. Cheers guys!